Wow.
Welcome back, everybody, to another Halo episode review. As you can see, I have this way. I have Patrick here to do this with us, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick is back. We haven't seen him
Wow,
on Earth.
that
Yeah,
was an
Patrick is.
impressive intro. That was
I
that
wouldn't.
was an intro.
welcome,
Wow. I
welcome
feel
back,
like I
Patrick.
have to hang on. Wait, am I not professional enough? Let me go get a nicer shirt.
Oh no, wait, that's the Supersonics hoodie.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, you have your. You about to throw on your Mariners?
I was about.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
look, of course it's is that a Sonics hoodie?
Is that a Sonics hoodie, bro? There are no stupid questions.
For
Except,
those
is
who
that a
do not
Sonics
know me, I'm a search Seattle NBA in Google daily, just in case, I don't want to miss anything, in case the team has returned. So, anyways,
yeah, Patrick is praying for the day Seattle gets a basketball team back. That should be fun. I know that day would be like Patrick's Christmas, birthday, and
it would. I would
all...
skip all those holidays. I would just cancel all those holidays if the Sonics came back.
Oh,
my kids don't eat presents.
Like every present you've ever owed. Supersonics, all of it, all the gear that they come out with.
Like, I'm excited. I'm excited to do this Halo episode. I have a little bit of a fun background with Halo because Bungie's right here, and I knew a lot of the people at Bungie. I still know a lot of the people at Bungie, a lot of the new people even at Bungie.
Right.
But of course now it's with 343, and even though they are also local, I don't know those guys at all. I don't know them at all. I don't think I've ever, maybe randomly, but I don't think I've really met anybody from 343 before. So
right. Okay, so you haven't been here for episodes 1, 2, 3. So I'm just gonna go ahead and ask you your thoughts on the show in general. First question, actually, before you answer that question, what is your Halo background?
Well, that's what I was kind of going into. So I guess my Halo background is I've only played the Bungie games. I have not played the 343 games, probably because I didn't, played through the 360 and then I didn't continue on with modern consoles until very recently. And I got the wrong company's console, I guess, to continue playing Halo, but it's fine. But I mean, I love the classic games. Am I old enough now to call those classics?
100%. Those are classic
and in fact, I've heard that the story for Halo 5 is like Cortana goes evil or something, and I'm actually not a fan of that personally, so maybe it's better if I haven't played the new games. But I love the lore. I'm a big Warhammer fan, and Spartans are not so different than Space Marines, so that's a fun connection there that I've always enjoyed. And I don't know, I was in college and doing other young adult things in the prime of Halo 2, Halo 3, which meant every house I lived in with like 7 other guys obviously had an Xbox set up with split screen where we were playing Halo deep into the night. So I don't know, that's maybe my Halo pedigree. And Halo 3, I don't know, I just really loved that game. I ran, at the time I was managing GameStops, so I ran this huge launch party for it with Bungie actually at the launch party and people coming and getting their copies signed and all this kind of stuff. So that game's always, in fact, I have a signed copy of Halo 3. So that game's always been a little bit special to me. But even I remember getting to the end of that game and just feeling things and you're not supposed to feel things in a first person shooter, I feel like generally, but in that game I really felt things. And maybe that's why I'm angry that I guess Cortana eventually goes evil or something, because that's stupid. All right. That's my background. How's that?
That's fantastic.
Oh, and then the show, I actually was like, this show's going to be dumb. But but you said something about it. I was like, all right, I'll watch an episode. And the first episode, it was like, all right, I'm interested. And then I kept going and I got more and more interested. And we'll get to this in a minute. But I think episode 4 is where I was like, okay, I'm in. Like, I will I
Give
have learned,
the
as
show my
Mo
time.
knows, that if a show isn't really grabbing me, I'll just write it off because I just don't have the kind of
Mhm.
time anymore to be like, this
Right.
show is bad, but I'm gonna watch it anyways. Like it's just not, it doesn't exist in my life. But by episode 4 of Halo, I think, of this show, I was like, okay, I'm really in. I'm really
Right.
excited about this show. So
Well, guess who's happy that you're really excited about that show? Me, because we get to talk about it sometimes.
yeah, absolutely.
So
I think it's fun. That's what I like about this show.
it
It's
is
both
fun.
serious, but it's also fun.
Right.
Right?
Now you have there's this long rich history. So before we actually get into the episode, it's long rich history of Master Chief and Halo in the sense, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about what they've done with this story?
Well, I mean, yeah, they kind of prequel the story, and I don't think, what is the Halo game that tells the story of Reach? I guess the tactics game, what is that? Halo?
Reach.
Halo Reach. Yeah, so that game came out right when I was moving to Uganda, actually. So I like kind of missed Reach. I actually ran, I think, a midnight launch for Reach, and then like a month later I was living in Uganda. And so I actually have I should have worn, oh my gosh, I have like an official Halo, like Bungie employee only hoodie for Reach. Now that I think about it. Anyways, or no, it's ODST. It's ODST. Yeah. So yeah, I played like ODST a lot, but I didn't play Reach much. So I kind of missed Reach because I was in another country at that point, and we didn't really have, we weren't hooking up the Xbox to Solar to play Halo. So it just wasn't a thing. So I kind of missed that moment. But I loved ODST. I actually loved the lethality of ODST. And I kind of like know the story of Reach because I was around for all the like promoting of Reach. Okay. I just didn't play Reach. That was the last game by Bungie, right?
Yes, and everything else has been 343 Studios.
Right. Yeah, because I remember, because you want to hear a really funny story?
Cool, go ahead.
About Bungie or about Microsoft Game Studios or whatever, is that for whatever reason, so all the employees obviously get a free copy of the game, of course. But they all got, this is weird, they all got free copies of the regular edition of the game.
So not like...
And you remember, like, for example, like, I think Reach had the big helmet. Was it Reach that had
the helmet?
Yeah,
it did. One of them had a helmet and, like, steel bullet
and then,
all that
I'm trying to remember what ODST had, but it had another big box thing, right? And, of course, all the employees wanted that. They didn't want the, like, dumb little green box. They wanted the big
thing, gave
right?
you the little green box. Get out of here.
So...
cheapies.
I think I could tell this story. So
oh god.
Basically, Bungie, out of their own budget, would come to my GameStop and pre-order like hundreds of copies of the collector's editions of these Halo games and pay like full retail price for them to then give to their employees, because Microsoft Game Studios was like just giving out like the
regular green boxes.
Regular green box. And so, that was good for my numbers. I got these like crazy pre-order numbers. But also, because there were so many, those boxes were huge, if you remember. And a GameStop, you've been in a GameStop, they're not very big. There's no room. So what I ended up doing usually is I would create these towers in the center of the store, move everything out, and then get like tarp and put tarp over it. And so in the center of my store before Halo launches, there was like this big pillar. People would be like, "What is that?" They'd be like, "I can't tell you."
Wow.
And then,
I guess you can
at
tell
like
now.
7 a.m., I'd have to get to the store like 7 a.m. in the morning, and Bungie would like roll up with a box truck, and I would load this box truck with all their collector's editions of the game, and then they would take it and give it out to the employees.
Wow, that's nice of them.
Yeah, well, but like, kind of a waste of money. Like,
those things are on eBay now. Okay, so let's get into it. So
sorry.
No, it's perfectly fine. Those things are sitting on eBay now, and someone is paying $1,000 for them.
Yeah,
free gifts.
But I liked. I guess I really liked ODST, and I loved Halo 3. Right. And I guess I missed playing Reach.
Right. So I particularly like. I've played all of it, right, up to Halo 5. Right. I'm currently playing Halo 5 right now.
Which one's isn't there Halo 6?
No, not Halo 5.
Infinity or whatever?
Yeah, Infinite. Current game.
Yeah.
So my thing is, right, I know the story of the Spartans. I don't know if I would have exactly loved to get beat for beat the video games that we played.
Yeah.
You know, I think you're supposed to let creatives create, and I think this is a pretty interesting version of the story, a
Yeah,
version
I
of the show
agree.
that we've gotten. I think it's great to see the curtain peel back. I know the mystique of Master Chief is you never get to see him, you know?
Well,
It's
and it's
just
a bigger universe. Like we're
right.
seeing more of the universe. It's like in the games, you're just kind of like in your little tunnel vision of what's going
Wherever they
on.
drop you off is wherever the mission is, and
Yeah, yeah.
it's just so you never get to see the worlds. But you know,
It's a lot
we're
more
seeing,
grim dark. I mean, I guess it's always been kind of grim dark in the background, but I haven't
right.
noticed 'cause I'm just shooting everything.
You're shooting
Uh,
everything and
yeah, it's
hammering
like I don't
everything.
care about your life as a civilian. You don't actually
Right,
matter to me. I just got to go
right.
kill these guys. Uh, but in this, like it's very. I mean, especially is that episode
UNSC
3
is
that
trash.
opens with the girl that becomes the prophet or whatever.
Oh, Maki.
Yeah, and she's like, and the boy like wants to give her a kiss and all that. I was like,
Yeah,
dude, this
that
is
was
like super grim
fucking
dark.
dark. Yes,
Like
that was really dark.
that's
So speaking of right, so we're talking about the civilians in the world. So on episode 3, I'm sorry, episode 4, Homecoming. There's two characters. Rather, there's two characters in the show that I think episode 4 was for. Homecoming, Master Chief, leads Cortana. Now he's infused with Cortana and
yep.
Dr.
Which, by the way,
Halsey.
is the one thing. I know everybody's nitpicking this show, poor people, poor showrunners. But
Right.
the one thing I would nitpick about the show is I don't like that Cortana's like implanted into him. I think it's like a little bit weird.
Oh, it was just a disc, right?
Yeah, it was like a thing connected to his helmet or whatever. And I
Yeah, and
understand he's always taking off his helmet, but they could have like attached it on his suit somewhere. So I don't know.
yeah.
The whole, and then it was like a little obnoxious, like this long scene of them like drilling out people's eyeballs and stuff.
Okay, so my whole thing about Dr. Halsey, or the fact that this show is being
what's up
at
with the creeper guy? Sorry, go on.
oh, such a creep. I think they're showing you that okay, so for a lot of the gamers, right, the UNSC and Master Chief and you know that you know those are the good guys.
Yeah.
They're not that good.
Yeah, this is where like if you have a background like in the Warhammer 40k universe, you like understand it's like they're not good guys.
They're
like,
not, and I think a lot of people who have not like who don't see past that, you know, this is like showing you that if you peel back the curtain, the UNSC is very, very garbage. And I think it's important to know that they're garbage because you look at the, you know, so it's two things happening, right? There's the war and then there's the rebellion.
They're kind of garbage. They're also kind of a mess.
Yes.
Like one reason Halsey is doing the thing she's doing is because the political infrastructure of the UNSC is basically a total disaster.
Yes.
Right. And so on another hand, it's like she's doing totally horrible, evil things, but at the same time, she's keeping maybe humanity alive while the politicians argue with each other, right?
Like, but this, if I think what was the episode 1 where they say the creation of the Spartans weren't created for the war, they were created for the insurgency, the rebellion. That's the whole reason the Spartans exist. And then the war just happens to happen, and now it's like, oh, we're gonna point this weapon to actual like non-humans, which is,
I didn't realize that. That's crazy.
Yes, which is trash.
Maybe I did, but now
which every episode I've done, right? I've always end up saying that I've said it like so many times. UNSC Dr. Halsey trash, right? But again, it's the whole thing of Dr. Halsey's doing like inhumane things, like the cloning thing to create Cortana, and all of that.
And I think that's why they did that whole thing because it ups it to another level.
Yeah, you have to see why that is being illegal because you're killing something. You're killing someone rather. So now Cortana is showing, you know, he's taking out the emotional palette, and Cortana, you know, now he's going home, back to his home planet to find the other piece of the artifact. And I thought, and
I think I'm just worried with her implanting him, what storylines, maybe not now, but let's say 3 years from now, they start doing with her like implanting in his head. I don't know if I'm gonna like where it goes at that time.
Exactly, is what happens then, because in the game he will lose Cortana.
Exactly.
Right? And I think in Infinite he lost Cortana, but he's given another.
like that's a whole part of
Yeah.
the. Yeah.
So now, that's the only thing I'm like, okay, so what happens next moving forward with all of this? Is Cortana now removed and then, changed somehow or whatever?
I'm
Because
glad they got the original, like the Cortana voice actress. I forget her name, but
right,
glad they got
they
her.
did. They did. So he goes home. They're now on his home planet, and he's walking back into his house, trying to build. I love the technology on the show. I love the fact that the helmet is not just a helmet. It's everything. Like you can
Yep.
build like 2D images and imprint them onto the helmet, and
Yep.
I love that everything is happening really seamlessly with Cortana.
Yep.
They,
Microsoft
I
loves it.
think. Go ahead.
I said Microsoft probably loves it too. Good advertising.
Oh man, they're gonna sell so many of these things. They're gonna sell so many of these things once the show is done. Like what? Original Halo helmets. $7,000. Of course, buy it. Because why not? Like, do you know how many Iron Man helmets I see on the internet just because I know we're gonna get these at some point. So, I love everything that's going on. I think Pablo Schreiber for me as a version of Master Chief. I'm not gonna say the version as just a version of Master Chief. I'm enjoying because it's. I think it's one thing to know the character and know how he will react to certain things, but it's another thing to know that this is not that character, but this is kind of a humanized version of the character. Even though Master Chief in the video games is human, but I like this human version. If that makes sense.
I think that's why they do the whole like pellet and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
to like.
Right.
I think he's doing a great job. He's doing a really good job of like riding that line of being an everyman, which to a level Master Chief has to be.
Right.
Maybe just like kind of everyman might not be the right word. Maybe like just a quiet person.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like somebody who does a lot of their thinking in their head, not with their mouth, I guess is a way to put it.
Right.
And so that, people can kind of project their own stuff onto that. And then, he definitely like feels like a soldier too. He's like got the soldier down, like that guy's a soldier.
Right.
So
quick question though, because so now that you said he feels like every man who, has that thought in their head, but with Cortana, I think Cortana is what they've given us now. Like, it's like, okay, this is what Master Chief would be thinking. And this is, like Cortana tends to now blurt.
I'm sure. Now, I don't know this for sure, but I suspect the reason Cortana exists, period, like when they made the game, was to enable a reason for this solo dude running around on, a Halo Dyson Sphere thing to have conversation. Right? How do we do storytelling? And so this like little AI assistant was literally created then to help enable conversations and character development, and now we're in the movie and the trick is already there, you get to use it,
right? So, it's already been for you.
So absolutely they're going to do more and more of that, especially because now she's like implanted in his head. She can like know what he's thinking essentially,
right so which is I think what happens.
There are things that it would be out of character for Master Chief to say out loud. That already we've heard Cortana say, I sense that you're right?
Yeah,
you would never tell us that, right? So
right. So that's one thing. So so three things happen in this episode. Master Chief going back to his home planet, confronting Dr. Halsey about the things he's starting to see now. You were in my house. Why were you in my house? And Dr. Halsey has to lie to cover it up. We're starting to, I think, again, a lot of people may not have noticed this, but Master Chief is a child soldier, and that is really garbage.
How do you not notice it? I guess they processed it, might be right. But like,
right, process is what I was saying. Right. So, again, peel back the curtain, and you're not going to like what you see. So, the second most important thing that happens in this episode is Kai 125. I love Kai, right? She takes off.
I love that whole part. I love her too.
And so this is a complaint I was seeing online. Listen to it real quick. So people are saying Kai's when she removes her emotional palette, her awakening feels more natural. I agree with that, but where I disagree, because they're like, oh, Master Chief's doesn't. I think Master Chief's awakening is to further the plot. So he carries a lot more in his awakening, right?
Yeah, I also think they're just different people.
They're different people, right? So they're gonna react to different stuff. And she's not. She doesn't
Master
also have.
Chief, I feel like more so feels like somebody who would just be a Marine, even if he wasn't a Spartan, right? Whereas Kai, she feels like she's, I don't know, more creative. I mean, she literally puts paint in her hair.
Yes.
Like, maybe if she wasn't a Spartan, she'd be an artist, right?
Right.
And so those are two very different personalities. If you take an artist and you take a soldier, and you remove this emotional dampener from them, you're going to get very, very different end results. So,
but I also think that Master Chief also has the benefit of being, that the special one, and he has the anger of, he's trying to piece back what's going on in his life, what happened in his, kid life. So
yeah, he's got other stuff to deal with.
Yeah, there's so much for him to deal with, where it's not just awakening and listening to music or
she's got other things on his mind.
She's just happy go lucky. I love it for her though.
Yeah,
I think her and Halsey's daughter's conversation in that episode, Miranda's, was just amazing.
Me too. I love that. I hope we get more of them.
Right.
So tell me something, since I didn't play Reach, is Kai a character in Reach? Because Reach, I do remember you were like playing as like 3 Spartans, right, that are not Master Chief?
Yes, you're playing as 3 Spartans. Was Kai in?
And I just assumed those must be these characters that we keep seeing, but I don't know.
Was it Kai or Cal? I believe, I want to think Kai is a creation for this, but I have to go back and look. I think I have to go back and look because I haven't played that in so long. It's a lot of the Halo that I'm playing now is just Halo 5, and then
have we seen any ODST soldiers?
No, we haven't. Exactly, we still haven't seen any drop soldiers. So that's kind of crazy. You would think that's something we would see now, but I'm guessing maybe next, because kind of like
they haven't been created yet.
Maybe this is because we haven't even met the Spartan. There are no Spartan 2s. We're still dealing with the first version of the Spartans, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So that's the second thing that happens, Kai's awakening. And then I think the third thing that happens in this episode is, oh my gosh, Kwan goes home. She's like, she finally convinces Soren, because again, we met Soren in episode 2, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is a very interesting
and this episode opens with her. Have they not even gone to the planet yet? Is this the episode where she kind of like bribes him to go?
Yeah, no, I think the bribe happened in episode 3, and they finally get back in episode 4. So the thing that's crazy, right, is I'm looking. We met Soren in episode, so I'm like, oh my god, this is such a great character.
I know, I really like
him. This is interesting. Of course, Bokeem Woodbine is killing it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they're like, oh, we need to show Soren more, right? I know people are gonna connect with him. How do we show Soren more? On there. And now
it allows you to have a second main character, essentially. Right. That's what I saw Soren as, is like, okay, we need one other kind of main protagonist character. And Soren is a perfect, he's like almost a Spartan. There's an empathy to him. He's got a family, and also he's got this messed up arm. He can kind of go into parts of, I don't know what it's called, but like the universe that Master Chief would have no business going into. Right. We'll get to see more of that underworld. Yeah, exactly. And so I was really excited for him, but what they're doing with him and his story is weird. It's a little weird. It doesn't even add up. Like,
at first, Kwan felt very interesting. Why does he even
need the money? Like, things look like he's doing good.
He's doing well.
Right when the bribe happened, I'm like, does he just want to help her and he's pretending he needs the money?
Right.
But it doesn't seem that way. He keeps talking about the money now, so.
So when I thought Kwan was interesting, right? In the first episode, very interesting. Second episode, my thought process is you keep Kwan and make her something else, because when she goes back home, everything falls apart. She's like, really does. If you take me to go meet the rebellion leaders, they're gonna help you. The first people she meets almost sell her out. Boom. Yeah. Then she's like, okay, I have someone else. My mom.
You know what I'm hating about her, and this really gets into 5, but a little also in 4. She's not like learning. It's like she never learns from the things.
She's not adapting. Yeah.
She has that whole thing where she basically causes all the bad guys to show up and kill people. She doesn't learn from that. She goes to her aunt. I guess we're gonna get to that. She like totally screws over her aunt. Doesn't learn from that. It's like her character isn't progressing, growing, changing at all, and it's really frustrating because I really liked her character at the beginning. They made her very empathetic at the beginning, so empathetic that like Master Chief, doesn't kill her, and now I'm like, man, Master Chief, you should have just done the deal at Deed, like just get it over with,
right?
He's gonna do it for you, and like.
Right. She gets so annoying in that episode, when her aunt dies and she's like, I'm not trying to, like, why are you not trying to leave? Things are falling apart here. Like, my thing was, right, when she had the conversation with Soren's wife, and Soren's wife is like, you can't look back or something. Like, if you keep staring, like, my whole, people were murdered. You don't see me joining the Marines saying I'm going to go fight the Covenant, right? You see me saying I'm going to live the life that's in front of me. I'm just going to keep moving. Why don't you do the same? When she had that conversation and she totally dispelled her, and by the way, nothing she said in that conversation to turn around and make Soren's wife look at her and be like, okay, go ahead, do what you want. Nothing sounded like convincing. Nothing would have convinced me to do it. Nothing she said, only the money, which again, in the episode where she bribes him, you see Soren, making money from chickens or whatever. Like,
it seemed like he was fine, and so I just assumed, okay, he wants to go on an adventure or whatever. But now I don't think that's true, and he's just annoyed, and we're annoyed for him,
right?
We're like,
again, like I said, they want to show more of Soren, and they feel like if you stuck him on the rubble, he wouldn't. You need him to go places, which is crazy, but he.
But there's lots of ways to do that.
Right.
So many ways to do that.
And so the whole gist of episode 4 to me is the artifact, which they end up finding.
Yeah.
But Master Chief also ends up unlocking, some other parts of his memory, which I was so ready for the confrontation that comes in episode 5.
Yes.
Which, listen, I thought episode 5 to me now, Reckoning, I think.
This is the moment that I fall in love, I think, with Master Chief and with the story we're telling which is funny. It's the opposite of Kwan. There's a nuance to how Master Chief is handling this.
Right.
And I realize he loses that nuance in episode 5. But you know what? He's Batmaning the whole thing. He's like trying to detective out and figure it out, rather than jump to conclusions. I don't think he believes anything Halsey is saying or anything.
At this point, no.
But he's not like gonna just like react. He's like actually thinking through, figuring things out, looking for more information, looking for more clues, asking questions. We see that in episode 5 when he starts asking, Cortana questions about his record and stuff, and like, don't you think that's weird? And even Cortana's like, yeah, that's kind of weird. Like he's trying to solve, and then I thought he was like trusting Keys.
Yeah, Keys.
But then you see him like observing Keys after he shares that with Keys. Like he I don't know. It almost felt like Master Chief was smart here and was like, I'm gonna go tell Keys and see what he does.
The one person that I trust.
Well, he wants to see if he should trust him, right? And then he sees Keys just selling him out to Halsey. He's like, well, yeah.
And Halsey's selling point, this is how trash Halsey is, right? First of all, Halsey's selling point is, well, we have Cortana for that. So whatever problems you think we have, Cortana is gonna, solve them. Yeah. 1, 2, the lady threatens to tell. She threatens to tell, the commanding officer or the governor or the president or whatever. And Halsey goes, are you sure? Because,
oh yeah,
if we tell him, all of this is going to blow back on you. So what? And even the lady is like stunned. She's like, hold on.
What's the deal with Halsey and Keys, by the way?
They're married. That's her husband.
I know that, but like,
I think it's one of those marriages where.
What is that bedroom like? Is all I'm saying.
Probably non-existent.
Like, there is like no chemistry isn't even like, they aren't even like friends.
And which is crazy because there is a flashback episode, right?
Yeah.
there is a flashback in this episode where they
when
go
they're
to
together.
Master Chief's
Even
planet.
then, there's no chemistry though. They
Nah,
like seem
I
totally.
think it was one of those marriages of like, I don't even think Miranda is their daughter. I think she might be a clone.
Interesting.
Because I think she was probably created because Halsey fears death or something, and she's like, if I'm ever gonna die, I'm just
That's
gonna
crazy.
harvest. I mean, think about it, right? 72 kids were stolen, and 72 kids were replaced by clones that died 5 years later.
Yeah. All right.
Why could Miranda not be a clone?
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, which would explain why she's not like in love with her daughter, even though.
See, I see it the other way. I think if she was a clone or some tech that Halsey built, or like, maybe this is because also we're watching Picard at this time and I'm thinking of that daughter, right? But like if she was like some, tech creation of Halsey would love her. But because she's like old school organic, like I had to have childbirth to
like, oh, you ruined my body.
She's like,
you kept me on my bed for 9 months. I could have been solving something.
Exactly.
Like, get out of here. I mean, she did say as much in episode 4 where she's talking to Kai and she's like, my mom loves you guys. Like, she loves you.
Exactly.
Way more than me. And she's like, no, your mom cares for you. No, you don't get it.
That's what I'm saying. So
no, but I just feel it's crazy, right? I think, or it could have been a thing where she did create her, and then Keys was like, nah, you can't take this one. This is like my daughter as well. I don't know. We'll find out why there's beef between the two of them at some point.
It's very weird, though.
I think Miranda could be the reason of the beef.
I just can't imagine that first date. Is all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say.
So you're a scientist. So you're a Marine. Let's get together. And that's it. So something happens in this episode that I actually liked. Master Chief spotted Kai, right?
Yep.
And he's like, oh crap. And there's this relationship between Master Chief and Kai. It's very unspoken. You see it, and every time there's a flashback, you see them as children, kind of stare at each other. And Master Chief goes to Kai and he's like, he immediately, no, you removed your.
Well, because he just knows. Like, why else would her hair be red?
Right. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, why? I saw you do it. And she's enjoying her awakening.
She's such a bitch here.
Right. She's enjoying her awakening, and Master Chief isn't.
I mean, I understand why he's doing it, but she's like 100% in the right to say to him, what about you?
What about you?
Well, I think no ground to stand on.
No, but I think Master Chief's anger, as you called it, Batman in it, right?
Yeah.
Where he's using the anger to kind of anchor himself. She doesn't have anything. She's not mad at the world.
No,
she has no
probably
care.
Doesn't even want to fight anymore. She probably wants to go like ride a roller coaster.
Right. So that's the thing that happens. And Master Chief is just so upset in this episode. He's like, you know what? I have to find out what's going on in my life. So he goes, while the creeper tries to open up the casing to the.
That guy is so creepy.
Yeah, I want him to die. Why isn't he dead yet?
Most creepy character since like Crispin Glover existed.
Yeah, but why isn't he dead yet though? Like he should die. Like today.
He should have died. I thought he was gonna lose his hearing at that one. Like when
when he cracked the casing.
What were they doing? Like shooting it with a laser or something? What were they doing?
No, he was trying to crack the casing of the artifact, and then
I see. It actually wasn't clear to me that was a casing around an artifact, but I might have been just blind.
I think it was just a crystalline casing around it. I don't know if it's probably like and so he cracks it, and the sound goes off. Master Chief knows
everybody's freaking out. Master Chief comes running like a hound dog.
He goes
because he like gets there. He's just like stands there like.
He's like, yes, more memories, and he just goes for it.
Yep.
And we get to see Halsey, kidnap him. And I'm like, shit's about to go down. Of course, he opens that, right? And then we cut from that episode, right? We cut from that point.
So I'm
Again,
confused.
a lot of things are happening.
This is where I need Brianna, actually. So they kidnap him, but then also his house is destroyed. Like, so did they like kidnap him and then blow up his house? Like, what's the deal?
No. So apparently,
there's a plague on the planet. So you think the plague was real?
Oh, I think the plague was manufactured.
Okay.
So the plague could have been manufactured to. So I think we're going with a different story because Halo.
And I was confused about that school too. Did they grab all the Spartan kids from that school, or just him, or
special ones? I guess because Halo lore, 72 kids were kidnapped, but replaced with children that died with something that died 5 years later.
Oh,
yes,
well, that sucks.
So where it necessarily the children are, they're still kids, they're still your kids, but they're dead now. You understand? But
but in this one, everybody just dies.
They just wipe out.
They probably like grab them all from that camp.
Probably, and then just wiped out the whole.
I wasn't sure if they were like going from planet to planet, like looking for Spartans, or if so. Now I understand. Thank you for being Brianna for a moment and explaining things.
Look at me wearing two hats. But so he sees that, but in the middle of all of the chaos, right? So this episode is really good, interesting up to this point. They cut it and they take us back to Madrigal. And
why?
The bike is dead, so they escape. So Kwan and Soren had escaped certain death, right? But
if you liked this part of this episode, please comment below because I would like to hear your reasoning.
It was dumb.
I know.
There's no
anybody watches the video and is like, actually, I love this part of this episode. Please explain yourself to me.
No, but nothing happened.
Nothing happened other than us watching her have a temper tantrum and like her character even less. And I'm very frustrated about that because if she what do they do? Is she going to be a villain? If they're setting her up to be a villain, maybe this is okay. That's fine.
If Soren dies because of her, I think I will stop watching the show.
Yeah, she is so unempathetic. Like I have no empathy for her anymore. And it's frustrating because I had, like I said, the world's empathy for her in episode 2 or whatever, where Master Chief's given an instruction, maybe it's even episode 1.
It was episode 1 where if it comes right in front of his helmet.
You're like, oh gosh, please don't do this thing, Master Chief. Save her life, right? And now she's just like a petulant child who has not learned anything and who you are in no way you are in no way rooting for her to overtake that other guy.
Right.
Like, why?
Honestly, I don't care. I actually,
let me ask you this. How would a person who acts like she is acting right now be any better as the ruler of that planet?
I can give you an example.
Oh, yeah?
Dumb. 45. 45.
I'm just saying, like, why would I be rooting for her? There's no reason for me to be rooting for her character the way she's acting. So if, let's say, Soren does get wrapped up in all of this and does, like, go and help her, then it's going to be dumb. I know that this planet gets blown up or something anyways.
Yeah,
I don't know how I know that, but somewhere along the way, I learned that. And so
I would hate for Soren to get glassed on this planet.
It's just, well, he better not, because he is a valuable character.
He is a
family. Put this way, if they kill him, they are later going to want to tell a story that they need a character like Soren around to tell, and they're going to regret killing him.
Right. So we come back. So back on Madrigal, right? That happens. So I think they took us to Madrigal to see two things, right? To see that happen and to see Mackie in the cave talking to the other Covenant.
Yeah, but they don't even connect those two things.
No,
you're like, okay, maybe there's a reason that we're back, and it's because
I think instead of breaking, like doing like 2 breaks at some point, they're like, oh, we're already on Madrigal. You know what? Fine, let's just cut scene to this other part of Madrigal real quick, right? it just happened. It was pure coincidence that they happened to be on happenstance, right? That's the word I'm looking for. It's pure happenstance that they happen to be on the same planet.
What's the name of the prophet girl? I can't remember her name.
Mackie.
Okay, Mackie.
Yeah, so Mackie is talking to her Covenant soldiers, and she's telling them, "Hey, like, like there's nothing here." I mean, they're telling her
Really
that there's
like that
nothing.
scene. I actually really like the are those elites? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, the elites. Yeah.
I like the CGI actually for them. And
Yes.
I actually really like the. I don't know. It's all like there's just something. Human's not the right word, but it just felt very physical. Their conversation between the two of them, and her addressing them. So, anyways, I don't know if I like her, but I do like the interaction she's giving us with the Covenant.
Yeah, I think she's there for as us trying to relate to the
Yeah,
Covenant. I think
because
it's
she's
one
not in
thing to
any of the
see.
games. I can't think of
Yeah, she's not. She's not. She's a made
human
up character.
Covenant person
Yeah,
in any of the games.
yeah, she's a human. She's a made up character, and I think it helps the audience kind of connect to the Covenant, because it's one thing to see the Covenant. I also think if she wasn't there, we'd be getting the Covenant speaking English, and I would hate it.
Yeah,
Kind of like seeing a human being speak their language and communicate with them makes it easier to take, right? In my opinion, to digest,
there's ways they could have handled that, but yeah,
right? Because I'm not. Yeah, I think that's what would have happened. It could have happened, maybe, and or universal translation.
it's not like they're talking that much that they couldn't have subtitled it. Honestly,
No,
like
no.
I don't think we've seen. I guess we've seen a little bit back in the whatever the main base is.
Yeah, back on Covenant, Planet Covenant,
Oh, is
in
that the
that
name of
little
the base?
brain, stem
Yeah,
planet looking thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry that I don't know the names of everything.
no, it's fine. There was a whole conversation there, and then we've seen them like 3 times, and then she was on the ship where she came to kill the
Yeah,
other.
I wish she was like a badass.
Yeah, and before she killed that ship, she transmitted a message in her language, which Kai and um Miranda helped to kind of like translate, which was again a fire scene between the two of them. I like seeing that. And I think the thing that makes me excited about Kai was when she picked up the needler and she goes, "Oh my god, have you seen these things work?" She's like, "Needles and the way she explains it like a child, and she's all
Yeah,
laughing. And I'm
yeah,
like, holy shit, there's no one. So none of the other Spartans know this, right? Which is kind of
yeah.
weird. But
Well, I don't know
immediately,
that they know that they even have the thing. So
yes, they don't.
that's the thing is they don't know there's a thing you could remove that would then make you act like this.
Right.
Right? That's why Master Chief is like, wait a second,
Something
her
is
hair
off.
is dyed a color.
Right.
Right?
And I think it was also funny because she asked Varnak the question. She was like, "Why are we killing them?" And Varnak is like, "Are you out of your mind?" Like,
I actually really like Monarch. He's awesome.
yeah. So we come back to Master Chief's planet, and he touches the artifact, and more memories come on, and he sees everything. Halsey happens to walk in the cave, and I'm like,
That's when we see the kidnapping, right?
yeah, we see the kid, and I'm like, holy shit, what is he about to do? And Cortana shuts his brain off.
He's
And this
about to
is
kill
why
her.
they
That's what
this
he's
is
about
why
to do.
this is why they implanted Cortana into his head as opposed to the helmet, because he has you have to take the helmet off at some point, right? Boom. How will Cortana like be able to control like all of motor functions and all of that if
Well,
she's not
he
in his
has
head?
like the synth suit and everything. We see them like layer that on his skin. There's no reason she couldn't like just lock down the synth suit or something. There are ways you can do it. I just think I don't know. It's just weird to me that it's like an implant in his head, or I don't know. He can't lose her.
He's gonna get
He
electrocuted at
can't
some
lose
point.
her, which I think is going to be like that's an opportunity again for some storytelling.
Right. He's gonna get electrocuted at some point, and then she's gonna have to go through a hard reset.
Yeah,
Oh, but no, he
like
wakes up.
distract her into something, and
Right.
that's the thing they have to do. It's like, why not just leave it so that she's the cool chip thing, and then also
Right.
you can do some fun stuff with her, like even on other Spartans and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because it would have been nice to see her, if they could like move it to other Spartans, and just to see. She he wakes up, right? And Cortana's like, you can't get up right now. You have to wait. I shut down on you. And then boom, shit hits the fan, which again, from the first episode, the fight we saw, and then this episode, I think I personally I think episode 1 sold me because when he was getting shot, the Halo beep, 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 beep,
Yep.
the suit recharging. Once that happened in that episode, I was like, yeah, I'm sold. I don't care tell whatever story you want. I'm already here because I've seen Master Chief. Like I've just seen that is the most Halo thing to me, right? Is that suit recharging, that beep and all that, right? So that was the thing that sold me. But in this episode, we get a full scale war. So not just the elite, right? We get the other little buggers, right?
Yeah.
We get the warthog. We get the
we get everything.
we get
and they even kind of mix and match. Well, actually, one thing that was a little weird to me is like everybody is running around with a sword. Like literally, I thought the swords were kind of rare items. Maybe I'm wrong, but like
no, it
like,
really only
running
belongs
around
to a
with
couple
swords.
people. Yeah,
I don't think that's. If I remember,
no, you're right. The swords belong to a couple. I think the general, like the higher up of the elites.
Yeah,
and so that's why only one
Halo
elite
would be
soldier
much
had it in
harder
that.
if grunts were running around with swords.
Right, which is why only one soldier had it. One elite soldier had it in episode 1.
Yeah,
but it felt like multiple people had it in this episode. Like
it wasn't like it was like literally like full units were equipped with sword.
Oh man, but I mean, granted, we saw the
sword one shot kills a Spartan, man.
It does. But I'm so happy we didn't one shot kill any Spartans in this episode, even though Kai, kind of like.
It's true. They didn't do the like Superman effect of like all the Spartans get their butt kicked.
Yeah. It was fun seeing, like I think this is I hope, right? So everything happens, right? Shit hits the fan. They lose the second artifact because the big grunt guy comes down with the hammer, right? Oh, I love that weapon.
Yeah.
Smacks.
One thing I could definitely drop, and I don't know why they insist on doing this on every video game based movie, but like the first person view of like through the helmet, so that it's like, oh, you're playing the video game, except it's our movie or TV show. Like
it's a requirement at this point.
It's jarring because you're like, if this was like not based on a video game, like a first person, you would not be doing this shot.
You wouldn't do it. No, you're right. You would never do it. But
it's a requirement
just like that a video game, movie, TV show has to have it. Yeah, because it happened with Kai. She's taken down.
No, they do it a lot,
right? And then you kind of zoom into her face when she turns around and she sees the other Marines on the ground, and then this is when she starts to lose her.
I know they think they're being cool, but they're not being cool. Like, we don't actually want the video game. We want a movie or a show. So,
and then Master Chief does his thing, his Mary Sue thing, and just solos everybody. Like, I think you were the one who said in the chat, right?
I don't remember what I said.
You called Master Chief and Mary Sue. I don't
remember. A long time ago, I may have said that.
Yeah, but he did Mary Sue the heck out of this episode. Like he soloed. He
until he doesn't. He did until he doesn't. Until the hammer
until the hammer guy kind of like took his ass. But he soloed all the he killed a ship with a thing, right?
Yeah.
He killed a ship. He killed. And then all those like little grunts got up and he solos them and he's like, Cortana, I need a weapon. Grunts. He saves Kai, against Halsey's wishes.
Yep.
So next episode for me is going to be very interesting because what happens to Kai now?
I hope they don't kill her.
When you say kill her, do you mean kill her, or like put the emotional chip back in and kill her that way?
Oh, I meant kill her, but
wow.
I would really like a way in which she gets more time with Miranda.
Keys?
Like, calm down.
With Keys, right? Miranda Keys?
Yeah, no, I would love it if she got more time with Miranda, and like the two of them became like buddy, like basically what we have with Soren and Kwan, but I would rather have that instead with Kai
Mm-hmm.
and with Miranda. Like, I like their chemistry. I think they could be really fun together. Like, send them off on a thing together. That sounds great to me, right? Go, like,
Right.
have them go study the linguistics of the Covenant, by going on missions or who knows what. Like, if she was, like, essentially, like, a bodyguard to Miranda to go do Miranda stuff, that would be great. That's what I'm here
Mm-hmm.
for. I don't know if they're going to do that, but that's what I would hope.
That would be
Maybe
fun.
Miranda will even like rescue her.
I
Like
would
maybe
watch
they're
that.
gonna like get rid, like kill her or something. And Miranda's like, "Whoa, don't do that. She's like a linguistics expert."
Yeah, I would watch. I would watch her and Miranda talk for an hour, 45 minutes.
They don't need to talk, but they could like. That's the thing. When you have a Spartan, you can have action and you can have
Mm-hmm.
science or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
whatever she's doing.
And
Anthropology.
granted, this is not just this is not just a fighting Spartan. This is one that knows language
It's a
and
thinker.
yeah. So
Yeah, no, I think it would be great for the two of them to go do stuff, but I don't know
mhm,
if that's what they're gonna do.
right,
I don't know.
but
I'm worried that because they're going for this grim dark thing, they're just gonna like kill people. There's always this pressure ever since Game of Thrones to make sure
kill
you
favorite characters.
kill some favorite characters in a season to make sure everybody like knows that hey, we're serious. This
Right.
shit's serious.
It's funny that you mentioned the grim dark thing because that's kind of like the story Kai, Riz, and Varnak told Miranda about the dogs or the pet,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the
that's very
warden.
grim dark.
Jesus, I'm like, this is
It reminds me of like the old lore for like the remember the was it the in Star Wars the Red Imperial Guard or whatever the actual like
yes,
they have to like they grow up together, they have like a buddy
and then
their whole
you
lives through
yeah,
their training, and then at the
ugh,
end they have to fight their buddy to the death, and whoever
to,
wins becomes the.
becomes the
I was like,
guardian.
dang man,
Yeah,
this is it's yeah they're definitely going for some grim dark.
they are, but
I never really realized how grim dark Halo was, or maybe they're just going that direction with it. But
no, Halo is pretty dark. Did you not
I
play
mean, I knew it was dark.
ODST?
I don't know.
Did you not play ODST? That was
I did. No, that's
crazy.
totally fair. ODST was awesome, by the way.
I think because of the platform, the first game is actually very dark, but the platform and I think at the end of it, the hero kind of wins. So even though you know it's still a dark video game. Like if you think
Yeah,
about it,
I
whenever you
still feel like even by the end of Halo 3, you kind of feel like you're fighting for the good guys, though. Do you know what I mean?
even
Like,
though the story's
like
starting to
Halsey is
unfold.
horrible. Like, there are horrible people within the end, like within the UNSC, but you are fighting for the good
Right,
guys, is your
right,
general sense,
right.
right?
I think also wasn't it Halo 3 where the one soldier, the assassin, you get to play as the assassin, um, the guy who goes invisible, who
Maybe.
uses the elite. You get to play as one of the
No, that's
elite.
Halo 2. Halo 2.
Halo 2, yeah. So
Yeah.
I think because of Halo 2, you feel like you are fighting for the good guys because that one elite soldier kind of like broke ranks and now he's like
Yeah.
fighting against. So you're like, oh, they're actually subjugating people.
Yep.
But still, you're fighting for the guys who are killing their own people because they want
Yeah.
stuff from their planet. Like,
Yeah. That was very controversial in Halo 2, but I kind of liked it.
yeah, I thought that was a really good choice. But no, I'm excited, and then they drop off Mackie, so I'm excited to see what they do with Mackie. I'm excited
Yeah.
to now.
How
Now
often do you think that girl plays the like I've been abducted by the Covenant card? Like they've
I think she dies by the end of the season. I think she expires. I think because there could be one of two things because of how she grew up, the world she grew up, and the way she grew up. Right, they're setting her up as someone who she was brought up by the Covenant. Right, she's now like actually
is she
to
gonna
her she's
die
that's her
giving
people.
Master Chief a kiss?
No, she's gonna die being a dickhead. No, like she's gonna die being a Covenant. Like this is who she is to her core, and she can't see anything anyway
I
through
mean,
it.
I don't think she dies. I think she is the one that leads them to reach to glass or whatever it is they do to reach. Like, I think this season is probably going to end with like Master Chief finding the Halo, and while he's finding the Halo, she's like standing on Reach with like her arms up while like we see drop pods or whatever swooping down on Reach, and like Reach is blowing up at the same time that the Halo is being found or whatever.
So now with that you've put out there, do you think the other Spartans die in this as well? Or just?
Yeah, well that's why I was asking if these are the characters from Reach, because if they are, do they die in Reach, right?
Oh man, I gotta look that up because that is a very interesting thing that adds kind of sauce to this show. But I'm liking this show again. If you take Kwan
I
out,
am too.
If you
I
take
think
Kwan
I'm
out,
liking it because it's serious, it's grim dark, but
right.
also the like techie science, all that kind of stuff is just like cool, fun whiz-a-majig. It's like old Star Wars, it's like there's sound in space and all, X-Wings, they just work, and TIE fighters fly in atmosphere and it just works and don't ask too many questions.
Yes.
And it's cool, right? Like everything is just cool and fun, and it's, I don't know, there's something, everybody's gotten so serious about that stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of simple. It's not, it's
like that whole thing when we go to where Soren lives, the like roller coaster ride we go, that was like totally over the top.
Yeah, because when it hit the drop, I'm like, oh, and then it just catches.
Yeah, like, oh, and there's like a cable car. It was totally unnecessary, but it was fun. It was cool.
It was cool looking.
Right? Yeah. Right. And like, there's a lot of things like that where they're just kind of like, what it reminds me of is almost like, oh man, why can't I think of his name? The director of the first two Spider-Mans and the third one.
Sam Raimi?
What? Sam Raimi.
Yeah, he's doing that.
It almost has like a Sam Raimi fun quality to it. It's like the Doc Ock scene of like everything going crazy and it like that. Anyways, my point is there's a certain fun quality that I am enjoying, and maybe that is because in contrast to Picard, which I pretty much watch those two shows next to each other. Like I'll watch an episode of Picard and then I'll watch an episode of Halo, and Picard is like not fun, unfortunately.
It's not. It's actually very
there's
serious.
No joy in Picard at all,
which is kind of weird. You would think, I thought the first season had some joy in it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It did.
And this is just like kind of like sinking feeling of they're not gonna solve anything. Like I'm just like,
yeah,
they're all gonna die.
That's a different show to review, but I can't help but because I'm literally watching them. It's almost like for me, like Friday Night TV or whatever night it is I watch, since I always watch them next to each other,
day and night.
Yeah, and I always watch Halo. I'll tell you, I always watch Halo second because I look forward to Halo. So it's I gotta eat my vegetables first with Picard, and then I watch Halo because I'm like, all right, I want to end on like a high,
right? Which is crazy because I kind of watch Halo first, and because no, I again, like you, I am enjoying Halo more. Obviously, there's all of the Halo lore and everything, but I'm actually really enjoying the show. So I just want to watch it, right? I watch Picard, and I noticed that what I do with on Picard a lot is I pause because I'm probably like doing something else. Like Picard is almost like the background show. I hate that I'm saying that, but even though I'm enjoying Picard, but it's kind of like the background show. So I'm pausing it to do something. Yeah. But Halo, I have to make sure that it's nothing. Yeah, I'm paying attention because
I mean it's got a rich story so far, so you do have to pay attention.
Yes, and again,
I mean, there's only been 2 action scenes really in the whole show.
Really, and you're still in it, like you're still enjoying it.
Yeah. Like, no, that's actually why I'm enjoying it.
Right.
And if it was just hollow action with no heart behind it, I'd be like, whatever. And that's what I expected. That's what I expected going in.
No,
the reason I'm sticking around and enjoying it is because it's not just hollow action
story.
Heart.
Yeah, I thought
think about how gutsy it was to go 5 episodes into this show well, I mean 4 episodes because the first episode has a big action sequence, but
Mhm.
you go 4 episodes into a show based on a first-person shooter before you have another action sequence.
Right.
Like, that's pretty gutsy.
And I honestly think we're not gonna see another one for like, it's 9 episodes. This is 5. We have 4 more episodes. I think episode 9 is the next big one.
Yeah. When Master Chief was walking around Reach, we were like, well, sucks to be all you. They're all like listening to music and stuff, and I was like, get out of here, man. Run.
Right. But it paid off. Everything that has happened on the show has paid off. Every slow moment has paid off into
that's
something.
what I mean. Yeah. I mean, I am really enjoying him piecing together his past, for example.
Right. Well, this is episode 4 and 5 of Halo, The Reckoning, and
there's a new episode tonight, right?
Tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Well, tonight, midnight for me.
Oh, is it midnight for you? So it'll be 9 for me.
I think it comes
Amazon
out.
does that. That's the listen up, streamers around the world. If you own a street, Jeff Bezos, you're the only person doing it right, and you're not doing anything else right. But all of you other owners of streaming, Netflix, you know what? Here's something a little. Everybody hates you right now. A little thing you could do to make people happy. Your midnight release, not midnight release. Your launch for new shows should be at midnight East Coast time. Midnight East Coast time. Why? Because your most hardcore fans will stay up to watch it at midnight, but they won't stay up until 3 a.m. And so everybody on the Pacific Coast is like watching that stuff that night, and everybody on the East Coast is like, spoilers, stop, close my ears.
Right. And it's always gonna be a 3 o'clock thing. I'm not staying up to 3 to watch.
Disney Plus, all of you.
Yeah, HBO Max,
9 p.m. East Coast time. 9 p.m. Pacific Coast time, midnight East Coast time. It won't kill you. Those 3 hours will do you good.
Right. So
Amazon does it that way. That way.
But isn't Amazon out there for you guys?
Yeah. Well, exactly. Amazon's here. And yet they're based in Seattle, and yet they start theirs at midnight East Coast time. The West Coast company is taking care of the East Coast customers.
I love it. Well, thank you, Patrick, for joining to do Halo. I really do appreciate it. It's been a while, hopefully we
long while.
Yeah, hopefully we can get you back again.
Maybe if you do a season review of Moon Knight, I could be on that.
Next week.
Okay. Wow, we only have one more episode.
We only have one more episode. Yes, we only have one more episode.
That worries me. All right. Feels like we have. I would
love. Wait, so just hang back when this is done. I just want to hear one thing from Moon Knight.
All
right. But no, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. We will catch you on the next episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you.
You've seen it too. They're coming. And you fought. Yes. And you won. Not yet.
John and the other Spartans will operate as designed and will bring us the weapon that wins this war.